about my first trimester of pregnancy. So if this is something you guys are interested, just go ahead and keep on watching. And if you guys like videos like this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below, and don't forget to thumbs up this video if you guys like it. So while I am telling you what's going on with my first trimester of pregnancy, I'm actually going to be doing my hair because we are getting ready to leave to go to a parade, which is so fun because it's raining outside, which kind of stinks, but we really want to get out of the house and go. So I'm actually going to be doing a couple things at once with you guys, and I'm going to do my hair while I talk about it. So in case any of you guys are wondering, for a heat protectant, I'm using this BZ Turn Up the Heat. You can get at your local Sally's. I love this heat protectant. It's my favorite. I don't use anything else. And then I'm also going to be using the Numi Bubble Wand to curl my hair. I found out I was pregnant in the end of July of 2022. And I am like the worst case scenario pregnant person, I feel. I tend to have really rough pregnancies, and I tend to get really sick very quickly. So it wasn't until about, I'd say, like a week after I found out I was pregnant, I started to having like the first trimester pregnancy symptoms. So I was constantly throwing up all the time. Any kind of smell that I didn't like, that just didn't go with me, I would puke. It didn't matter what it was, if it was food or if it was something I smelled outside a grocery store parking lot or something, I was throwing up. So I was pretty miserable. On top of that, I was also having insomnia at night, so I could not sleep at all. I was up all night for this went on for about 3 to 4 months, to be honest with you. And at the time, my husband was working out in the oil field at his job, and he was working about 3 weeks on, and he was only coming home for a week and a half, sometimes 2 weeks. His actual work schedule was 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off. But at that time, we were trying to save up to move into our new house that we have now. So he was trying to get as much money as he could and save as much before we went ahead and bought a house. So he was gone a lot working. So I was kind of just stuck to obviously deal with, you know, all of the sickness and, you know, having the kids. And I do homeschool my 11-year-old daughter, and then our son is 2. He's about to be 3, but he is 2. So I was also having, along with the insomnia, restless leg syndrome at night, where I constantly felt like I had to move my legs all the time. So I was miserable. I would finally seem to fall asleep about 6 o'clock in the morning. And then once 6 o'clock in the morning rolled around, it would be like I would finally go to sleep, and then Declan would wake up around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I had no sleep. So there were days where I told Arya, my oldest daughter, like, hey, just go ahead, watch TV with your brother for a little bit so I could get a little bit more sleep, because I was absolutely miserable. I felt like a walking zombie. I remember, like, Ari was in basketball at the time, and she had games every single Saturday. So I would drive her to her games, and I remember, like, we would get there and I would puke right outside the car before we would go inside to her game. And I know a lot of times, like, when I did go to the doctor, I waited until I was, I think it was 12 weeks pregnant to go to the doctor and confirm everything, because this was my 3rd pregnancy. They don't really do anything the first 12 weeks anyways. They take you in, they give you a pregnancy test to confirm you're pregnant, and they take some blood, and that's pretty much it. And then they don't really see you until from 12 weeks, then they start seeing you, you know, at 16 weeks, and then, you know, once a month after that. But it's not, I know a lot of people feel like super rushed. They feel super rushed to go into their doctor's appointments. Hi, honey. Rushing into going to these, you know, I get it, like people are excited, but like I said, being that this was my third kid, I was just like, you know what, I kind of know the drill by now, and I know what they do, so I did wait. And I know at these appointments, they always ask you things like, are you feeling nauseous? And I'm almost like, okay, yeah, I feel nauseous, but I puke. And they're like, oh, well, they always say, we can give you something for the nausea. But the thing that they always miss, I feel, is like, it doesn't seem to me like a lot of women are actually like throwing up, because they always tell me like, yeah, they experience being nauseous in the morning, or people may throw up in the morning, but it's better the rest of the day. For me, it was an all day thing, like morning, afternoon, night. It could strike any time of day. So they did give me some medication for the nausea, which is just like these little, you guys probably know what they are if you've had a baby, but they're just these little like tablets, and they dissolve underneath your tongue. But they didn't really seem to help me much. They also have like this stuff where they put in the little syringes, and you rub them together on your wrist like this. None of that stuff ever seems to really help me. So I felt like the first trimester was just, I don't know what the word is for it. It was bad. It was just awful. I couldn't wait for it to kind of pass to get into the because they always say it gets better in the second trimester. And for me, it does get better. But then once we get into later on in the second trimester, then I've got a new set of issues, which I will talk about in a separate video. Another thing I was gonna add is like, this first trimester of pregnancy with baby number 3 was the worst trimester of pregnancy I've ever had. It just was. Corey doesn't really want to have any more kids after this. I am kind of like undecided about it, but because of how sick I get during pregnancy, I really like am not a huge fan of being pregnant. I don't love to be pregnant. I've talked to so many girls that are like, oh, I've had such a great pregnancy and I feel great and I feel amazing, and they don't get sick like me. And I'm just like, wow, you're so lucky, because like with each set of kids, it was like different symptoms, some the same or some add, but it seems like with every child, the pregnancy symptoms got worse and worse and worse for me. So I don't know, like if I had to have another trimester like that again, of a first trimester with another baby, like I wouldn't want to. I don't know if I would want to have another baby at this point because of how sick I was, and because like this is gonna be 3 kids. It's just like a sad chapter in life to think about closing off, to never have a newborn ever again, never do the newborn things, never do the baby things ever again. It's just something that I feel like is really sad for women to close. You know, I want to know if you guys have kids and you're all done having kids, like how did you feel when you made the decision that like, okay, you were done? Were you sad, or did you feel like your family was complete, or how did you feel about kind of ending that chapter of your life? Because like I said, it's totally bittersweet, because I love my kids. I love kids. People who have like 5, 6, 7, 8 kids, I don't know how they do it, because it requires a lot of patience to be a parent. I personally think parenting children ages like 5 and under for me is easy. That's my forte, my element. I feel the most comfortable parenting that age of kids. Once we have to start teaching why we can't lie to people, why we cannot steal from the stores, why we need to tell the truth, why we have to do the right thing, like all those like elements of like what happened when your child is older, it's not as easy anymore, because if you tell your kid you know, don't lie, and they keep lying, what are you supposed to do? So I find right now with my oldest, she's 11, she's almost 12, and we're struggling with some things. Right now, lying is one of them, and it's extremely difficult because we're just not the same person. Our kids have different personalities from us, and I was always a really honest person when I was a kid growing up, or if I did tell a lie, I'd like very quickly tell the truth because of the guilt. But she's not really like that, so there's some struggles of like I said, I love 5 and under, but then when they start to get older, it starts to get so much harder to parent and to know what to do. So people who choose to have so many children, like, I give you guys props because that is so much patience, so much teaching, and so much learning for each child. Yeah, so I don't know, you guys. I don't know if we're gonna have another one or not, but I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about my first trimester and how it went. I'm currently right now 28 weeks pregnant. My baby's due May 2nd, but I should also mention that I had to have C-sections with my first 2 children. With Arya, she was in position, she's my oldest, and she was in position to come out for a vaginal birth to be induced. However, she flipped 24 hours before and they couldn't flip her back. So she was an emergency C-section because the umbilical cord was actually around her neck. And then Declan got stuck right under my ribs. I have C-sections or higher risk for C-sections because I have a heart-shaped uterus. So they get stuck in the heart on the upper side. On either side is where they kind of get stuck. They told me it's not a huge, they call it a septum right here in this middle part where the heart comes down. And they told me it's not like a huge, it's not a huge thing where it comes way down, but it's enough to where like they can get stuck. This baby, so far, she's not stuck. I know she's not stuck because it's something you can feel. For sure, if she was stuck under one of my ribs, I would definitely know it because I did with Declan. But I am not undecided. I would love to have a vaginal birth with this baby if I can. But if I am unable to have a vaginal birth, I will have to have another C-section. I'm just really hoping that I can. I'm actually in the process right now of switching doctors because I came down here and the OBGYN that I went to just said that their entire hospital just won't do C-sections, which is really frustrating. So now I'm having to go and kind of look, and I did find a hospital that does them and they said all of their doctors do them. So I actually have an appointment for that next week. To kind of pick them and see what they have to say, and I'll definitely update you guys and let you know. And a lot of it is just kind of up to the baby. If the baby gets into position, she's not stuck and she's head down, she's ready to go, I can go ahead and have a vaginal birth. But if she decides to flip into one of those corners and she's too big to get out of there, then I'll definitely have to have another C-section, which is a bummer. It's not the end of the world, but C-sections are definitely harder to recover from than a regular birth. And my husband right now, unfortunately, he had lost his job, and he has been looking for another job for a couple of months now. So once he starts working and we do have this baby, he's not really going to be able to take a lot of time off, because once you have a new job, you can't just be like work for a couple months and then be like, oh yeah, I'm having a kid, I need to take a bunch of time off. So it's kind of just gonna be me. And if you guys haven't seen my previous videos, we did just move from North Dakota to the state of Alabama. So I don't have any family or anything like that down here to kind of help me. So that's kind of why I was opting out from a C-section as well, because a vaginal delivery, you're going to recover faster. So I guess I'll just kind of wait and see what happens, and I'll update you guys and let you know. I am gonna make another video and just kind of talk to you guys a little bit about my second trimester what got better, what got worse with that, and everything. But yeah, I just want to tell you guys about my first trimester, how it went. And I was like watching other girls, you know, here on YouTube, kind of like their stories and what they went through as well. So if you guys like this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.